those of us who've realized the importance of sharing our work and showing up in the workplace to get the recognition that we deserve and require, one single piece of feedback or praise that we really would love to hear is very good presentation. Starting my career, and I was super laser focused on improving my presentations and delivery skills. But there's a big but here. It was not just the fact that I received this feedback or praise that made me really happy. It was when I received it. It was not after delivering the presentation that people gave me the feedback that it was a very clear one. It was actually before I had even delivered the presentation and I would share the slide deck with my superiors to check if it's okay or not, I would receive the presentation feedback that is very clear. Thank you, good job. And that I had my biggest learning when I was just starting out in this niche. And that is presentation skills does not equal delivery skills. Your presentation, at least in the workplace, does not rely on your delivery skills in order to drive your message home. The most important thing is the content, so what you want to say, the structure, how you want to say it, and your audience. Tailoring your structure and your content to your audience, to whomever you would like to influence. Delivery skills is then the last piece of the puzzle. It's not the most important part. It might be very well the most important thing if you are a stand-up comedian or if you are just doing presentations for fun or you're giving motivational speeches. But we're talking about business presentations in the workplace when delivery is not the most important thing. The most important thing is, say it with me, your content, your structure, and your audience. And delivery is the last piece of the puzzle. I took this learning very close to my heart when I started out. And years later, when I started coaching individuals on business presentation skills, presentation, preparation, and delivery, I realized that there is a big misconception for people who are trying to develop this themselves. And that is the fact that people think that presentation equals delivery. If you talk about presentation skills, you mean that you just want to show confidence, you want to be over-polished, you want to be very salesy, American, being confident all the time, which is just not true. So here are the top 3 myths that I've heard from people, or I've sensed that they have it innately in them, that is really being in the way of them developing presentation skills in the workplace. The first one is, if your slides look great, then your delivery will be great as well. Well, raise your hand if you think, or one part of you, one cell in your body thinks that that is true. If I have great looking presentation slide deck, it means that I'm going to deliver the best presentation in the whole world. Here's the irony that still gets me to this day why it happens. And people think, or most people think, that presentation skills equals delivery skills. So when we talk about presentation skills, we mean that being overconfident, polished, and everything. But in reality, when it comes to behavior, what I've realized and what I've witnessed is that people start polishing the slide deck until the last minute before going to present. So they think the presentation skills is all about delivery, but in reality, what they do is they refine and polish the slide deck until the last minute before the presentation. There's a clash here, people. We think this way, but we act in a different way. And part of it is because people think, or most people think from everything I've seen or heard, is that people think that the presentation skills and the delivery skills are a little bit more of an innate trait in people that cannot really be developed after a certain point, and that's why they try to overcompensate that by focusing a lot on the slides, whereas not really working on the delivery part. So if part of you believes that if your slide deck looks great, then your delivery will be good as well, that's a myth. That's a common belief that people think that's true, which in reality really isn't, because a presentation does not equal a slide deck. You might as well present without a slide deck. Does that count as a presentation? I think so. So remember, the slide deck is there to support you in the message you want to give to your audience. Remember, the content, the structure, and the audience is the most important thing, and delivery is supposed to be the icing on the cake, not the cake itself. and pretty slides, the most beautiful, great looking slides, it's not going to compensate for a messy thinking and not having good delivery skills. So balance it out. The second myth I've heard all over again is that a lot of people think that when it comes to presentation skills, delivery and the speaker is the most important thing. And from everything I heard before, that's just, of course, just not true. And this really resonated with me when I had a conversation the other day with a lady who was half American, half European. She said that I'm half American. I can talk my way into everything. I can talk my way out of everything. I don't think I need to improve my presentation skills. And that is coming from the fact that people think presentation skills in the workplace equals delivery skills. If I'm a good deliverer, if I'm extroverted, if I'm native English speaker, if I can talk, if I have high verbal intelligence, then I don't need presentation skills. But they're just missing the fact that presentation skills, in the sense that they think about it, so delivery skills is just the last piece of the puzzle. We had 3 other puzzle pieces, which was the content, structure, and the audience. And once you have all that figured out, delivery is just icing on the cake. It's never the most important thing. So that's a myth. If people think that they're native speakers, they speak great, they're extroverted, they are life of the party, they can talk very well, that does not mean that they can deliver great business presentation skills, because they could be good stand-up comedians, they could be good deliverers, they could be talkers, they could be good communicators, but business presentations is about clarity, key takeaway, call to action, and a big message. It's about having a clear thinking, not about being able to talk freely. That's exactly the opposite of what we're aiming for in business presentation skills. So remember, if you have the content, structure, and the audience all figured out, and you're not so great in delivery part, you are in the winning state. But it doesn't work the other way around. If you're great at delivery, if you talk very well, if you're confident in everything, but you do not have a content, you do not have structure, you do not know who you're trying to influence, you're losing, my friend. And the third myth is that people think, or most people think, that great delivery skills in presentation is about being super confident all the time. It's about being salesy and inauthentic. This actually was a conversation I had the other day with someone who told me, I'm very afraid of improving my presentation skills because I don't want to sound inauthentic. That's the common misbelief, that people think if I improve my presentation skills, then I improve my delivery skills, then I'm gonna have to be confident all the time, salesy all the time, in their words, American all the time, which is not me. This couldn't be further from the truth. And honestly, a very, very much missed opportunity, because if people think that I'm not going to improve my presentation skills because I don't want to feel inauthentic, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be overconfident all the time, even if I'm not, that is a missed opportunity for them, because improving your presentation skills is not about that. It's about showing your value. It's about sharing your idea. It's about impacting and influencing your audience for better visibility, more opportunities, and more growth at work. Not about being confident, polished, American, salesy, over-polished all the time. We want to be true to ourselves. We want to be authentic, but in a more impactful way. I would be very sad to hear that this common belief that people think that delivery skills is going to make them inauthentic, and that's why they don't improve their presentation skills, is going to honestly make me sad very much, because oftentimes these people are the ones who have the most or the biggest ideas. These are the ones who are not being seen. There are people who are invisible, and those are the people who need this the most. So if you feel like that this is you, please change this for yourself and start improving yourself in this area. Now I'm very curious, which one of this is hitting even close to home for you? I really, really would love to hear it from you, because then it will tell me if I'm on the right track or not. Please let me know down below in the comments if this is resonating with you, if you've seen it in yourself, in others, if you think that this is hitting close to home. That's it. So if you were to take away 2 main points from everything I talked to you about, is 1, Remember that top-notch delivery is not going to compensate for an unclear thinking. If you do not have a content, if you do not have structure, if you do not know who you're trying to influence in your audience, not even the best or the most performers and deliverers in the world are going to drive that message home. It's not how it works in the business presentation. And second is that delivery skills can be developed. It's such a missed opportunity that people think that this is an innate thing in specific people, that either you have it or don't. Don't have the fixed mindset, have the growth mindset where this actually can be developed. And to kind of bring this all full circle, I want you to take away this from what I talked about in the past, 10, 15 minutes, that business presentations do not equal slide decks. Focusing more and more and more of your time and investing more of your time on creating a better slide deck, more beautiful, more company branding, animations here, there, without having the strategic thinking behind your content, your structure, your key message, your call to action, and the audience who you want to influence. It's not going to matter. It's not how it works. And people who can first get their thinking clear can put their ideas on the paper and can define a structure how they would like people to get there to their key message and the call to action. And then delivery skills is just going to seal the deal for them. But it doesn't work the other way around. If you have great delivery skills, but you cannot think clearly, you cannot be strategic about your content structure and the audience, that's going to hold you back in your business presentation skills. Thank you so much for being with me in this video. If you learned one thing in this video, give it a like button. If you learned 2 things, consider subscribing. This is the place to be to learn about business presentation skills in the workplace, specifically for non-native English speakers, as I am now as well. I had to develop myself so much to get where I am right now, and I would love to see the transformation for you as well as I do it for other people. Thanks so much, and see you in the next one.